I, along with everyone, has been taught since a very early age the dangers of illegal drugs. I would like to start by saying that I have never taken any illegal drugs. People have been using illegal drugs throughout the history of the United States. Most recently, the legalization of marijuana has been a huge topic for discussion among just about everyone. But is marijuana the only drug that should be considered? What about other illegal drugs? Are there benefits to the legalization of all illegal drugs? President Nixon created the Drug Enforcement Agency in 1973 and declared a war against drugs. The purpose of this and of the drug laws are to tend to prevent people from using drugs. However, this does not seem to be working since people are still using illegal drugs. People who are against the legalization of drugs will say that drug laws are good since drugs are bad for you. However, there are some legal drugs that can be just as dangerous and addicting as illegal drugs. The three deadliest drugs in the United States are currently legal. They are tobacco, alcohol, and painkillers. So, why are some drugs legal and some are not? If some legal drugs are more dangerous than illegal drugs, then why shouldn't all drugs be legalized? There are several reasons that all drugs should be legalized. I am only going to discuss a few of them today, such as prison overcrowding, reduction in crime, freeing up police resources, safety, and most importantly, rehabilitation. First, the legalization of drugs would help with prison overcrowding. The United States has the highest number of people in prisons in the world. The United States only accounts for 5% of the world's population, but accounts for 25% of the world's prisons population. And according to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, 50% of people in prisons are in there for drug offenses, which is up from 16 in 1970. 4 out of 5 people in jail are there just for possession. The number of federal inmates that are incarcerated for drugs has gone up almost 700% since the war on drugs began. Despite this number of people in prisons for illegal drug use, the availability of illegal drugs has not gone down. Next, the legalization of drugs would reduce crime. Since creation in 1973 on the war against drugs, property crime rates have tripled and violent crime rates have doubled. The cost of illegal drugs is unregulated, which means people who are addicted resort to theft and other crimes in order to get money to purchase drugs. Also, you never hear of people who smoke cigarettes and consume alcohol resorting to theft or violence to get money they need to support their habit. Legalization would also reduce the power of organized crime. Criminal organizations make their money through drug manufacturing and distribution. If drugs were legal, those crime organizations would lose billions of dollars of revenue each year. Also, if the government was in control, they could place a high tax on drugs and use that money to help with rehabilitation of addicts. The money could also go to private businesses and manufacturers which would help with the economy. Next, by legalizing all drugs, it would help free up police resources to concentrate on more serious crimes. There are serious crimes such as sexual assault, domestic violence, child abuse, and murders that are being unsolved because police are spending a great deal of time on arresting drug users. One fact about New York City, in 1965 there were 2 arrests per hour for marijuana possession, and in 2009 it was up to 97.5 per hour. That is a lot of time that could be spent on the more serious crimes. The next reason drugs should be legalized is that it would make them safer for consumption. There is no regulation on what you're getting when you buy illegal drugs. Illegal drugs may be cut with toxic chemicals that are more likely to cause an overdose. The drugs also be more potent, which could lead to an overdose. If the drugs were legal, their quality would be regulated by the government. Manufacturers would have to ensure that their drugs are up to standards set by the government. Another reason to consider is that prescription drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. According to the Center of Disease Control, 106,000 people die each year from drugs prescribed by a doctor, and more than 2 million suffer from serious side effects. This statistic does not include deaths related to prescription drugs being used for recreation. There are around 17,000 deaths related to cocaine and heroin each year. There are no deaths related to marijuana, and according to the Center for Disease Control, legally prescribed drugs cause more deaths than traffic accidents, heroin, and cocaine combined. Finally, by legalizing all drugs, addicts will be able to receive proper treatment. My uncle Michael, who died of drug overdose in 1999 at the age of 32, was never able to receive treatment for his addiction. He had been a drug user ever since high school and had been arrested many times and spent a lot of time in jail for drug possession. He was never once offered a drug treatment of any kind. As you can see, just because a drug has been declared illegal, it doesn't mean that it is more dangerous than drugs that are legal. Also, some current problems that could be solved with the legalization of drugs, such as prison overcrowding, reducing crime, freeing up police resources and public safety, and of course, rehabilitation. Even one country, Portugal, legalized all drugs in 2001 and has seen positive outcomes. Since the legalization, drug deaths have gone from 78% to 17%. Drug use among adults has gone from 49% to 27%. HIV infection has gone from 41% to 5%. Drug abuse has been cut in half, and prison population has decreased from 44% to under 21%. Also, caffeine is more addicting than marijuana. Alcohol is more addicting than heroin and cocaine, and that tobacco is more addicting than any other drug. But what I ask you to really think about is, should a person be put behind bars because they have a drug problem, or should they be offered help that they need to try to overcome their addiction?